All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, Shiba Nation YouTube station? Back Wednesday, full day of baseball. We love Wednesdays as a baseball junkie. You got an early slate, you got a main slate, you got everything going on, right? It's really nice when the sites don't fuck up the slate like FanDuel did today, where they chop it up in all ways and leave some games off and just do all different kinds of stuff. But hey, DraftKings, massive prize pools tonight, 5:35 Lord's time zone start. So it does start about 40 minutes earlier than typical, which is usually the case on these Wednesdays. And you're definitely going to want to make sure you are around, because there is, like I said, 4 games starting before the normal lock time. We'll do our best to break it all down here. Got my guy Gyiraszin like I do each and every Tuesday and Wednesday. Gyiraszin, I'll bring you in, man. Happy Wednesday. Last night, we made some damn good calls. We had a lot of winners in the Discord, and overall smashed the slate. I thought it was pretty easy, right? Brewers didn't necessarily do a ton, but, man, the Yankees, Dodgers just absolutely went bonkers. And, yeah, like I said, saw a lot of winners, a lot of winning screenshots, and probably – the highest scoring night I've ever seen in DFS baseball. I mean, 300 plus was taken down. FanDuel tournaments, I was seeing like 260, 270 on DraftKings. It was fucking NBA scores last night, Gyiraszin, in the MLB streets. And could be more of the same tonight. We got Dodgers and Yankees again in pretty juicy matchups overall. But bring you in, man. Happy Wednesday. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, I mean, hey, yesterday was a lot of fun. If you like a lot of scoring in baseball, I did see that one of our members had a screenshot in the Discord, and it was like 304 or some shit. I was just like, holy shit, man. That's like, you don't get those too often. But, hey, good when you do. But, I mean, I was in like the 230s and came like, 20th place and shit. And I was in the Grand Slam on the $66 one a couple times. But, Nate, yeah, we did do pretty good yesterday, but we'll be back on it today. I mean, we kind of got a similar thing again today, like you said. We got Dodgers, Yankees again in good spots. We got a couple pitchers that are decent. We got a couple maybe we could take some shots on like we did yesterday with Jump. But yeah, I mean, hey, it's baseball. It's a lot of fun. I mean, the good thing is it's like every other day. It's like every day it's like repetitious. So that's what I like. Today we woke up, had a little early slate. Fucking Blue Jays couldn't hit. I knew damn better too, Nades. I'm like, why am I playing the Blue Jays today? But, on them small slates, sometimes it tricks you. It's like, what am I doing? But hasn't been any scoring in today's slate. Daytime. So, hey, maybe we'll get some runs today in these 9 games we have. Reminder, 6:35 start, so a little earlier than normal. So don't miss out on those early games. But, yeah, I mean, Nate, I still don't understand, like, what's up with Ohtani? We all know he's like a generational, like this is like a talent that we're probably not going to see like hardly ever again in our life. A guy who's literally freaking Cy Young material and literally MVP type material with a bat. Like, so how can they keep fucking him up on these slates? Like, why is FanDuel does not have fucking Ohtani on the slate today, the Colorado Dodger game? It's like, dude, the Dodgers been winning the World Series for a couple years. Why are you leaving that game off? Like, who's the donkey that didn't see that game was on? Like, what's the difference? Like, I don't understand it. Like, it's just stupid. So, but either way, I could rant on and on. I always fucking rant about them donkeys over there. But, yeah, Nate, hey, we got a pretty decent little slate, even though, the Ohtani isn't on FanDuel. But it's like, hey, we got to make a little decisions here. Like, do we want to run with some DeGrom, who's been a little vulnerable to some home runs in his last few starts? I think he's given up like 6 or something in his last recent start. So he could be on the chalkier side. So it's like, we got a guy gives up some fly balls recent times, still has some strikeout potential. He's going to be a little chalkier. You got Soriano against the Tigers, who can't hit out of a fucking paper bag. They're absolutely terrible, Nades. They're like top 3 in strikeouts in the last 2 weeks in baseball too. So if Soriano, I know he's priced up a little too high, but to me, he feels like the safest, even though Ohtani is by far the best play on DK, but my brain works on like the FanDuel side. But Nades, we got a decent slate, I think. We still don't really have any weather. So it's like 2 days in a row. We don't have to worry about it. It's been kind of shitty so far this year, but yeah, looking forward to it. Nice day here in Michigan. I know I don't know, hopefully it's nice for you guys out there. It's like freaking 87 out here, sunshine. We only get like a dozen of these days a year. We just used one up. But yeah, I mean, hey, can't get any better.
Yeah, no, should be a pretty fun slate. And the only thing I can think of is FanDuel said, screw everybody. Well, I don't want to leave a game that starts over 2 hours after the rest of the slate. But DraftKings said, hey, here you go. Let's do that instead of making like a bigger showdown contest or something. And definitely a focal point on DraftKings for sure. Dodgers bats and Ohtani seem like the best plays in the slate overall. So we'll do our best to break it down here. And I thought we were going to get a 4K pitcher. I thought we were going to get a 4K pitcher here from the White Sox. Now I'm seeing Davis Martin hitting projections there, so I'm not sure. Did something come out overall there, or is something messing up here? Did you see?
I haven't seen anything, but let me look at the sports books. Usually pretty good about changing it pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't. So we'll kind of talk through that. But in terms of pitching, 8K and above, we got Canelli.
It says Sandlin on the FanDuel Sportsbook.
Yeah, that's who I thought it was. Is Sandlin, the 4K pitcher for the White Sox there against the Twins. So not sure what's going on here. We'll get this squared away. I'm just going to uncheck Davis Martin for now. But yeah, DraftKings headlining with Shohei Ohtani up at the top, 10-7. Definitely a Cy Young. It's between him and Mizorowski right now as it stands. Skeens maybe a little bit too. But yeah, definitely Miz and Ohtani up there. 10-7. You can easily fit him on a 9-game slate here. There's cheap bats across the board to play. He looks like the clear-cut SP1 for me. You're going to get him a little bit as an ownership discount off of Jacob deGrom because of that $1,000 price difference there. Jose Soriano sandwiched between those two guys, so I like him a ton of tournaments because everyone's going to be playing Ohtani and deGrom, so I like Soriano in the middle of those two guys quite a bit. And then you got kind of just a bunch of guys up in this 8K range that you could play, but do you really? I mean, you could also just kind of skip them all completely outside of maybe Casey Mize and just go down to some of the cheaper guys if you want to mess around. But break down this top tier range, I'll call it. Ohtani, Soriano, deGrom definitely headlining. Casey Mize is kind of the fourth guy that I'd look at up here. But yeah, go ahead and break down the 8K range.
Yeah, I mean, we can start with the top guy, Ohtani. I mean, it's pretty easy. The dude's only given up like 4 earned runs so far this year. I mean, gets a shitty Rockies team. I mean, we don't have to overthink that one. So Ohtani for me, definitely on DK. Obviously, he's not on FanDuel. Soriano, as you know, we were talking about here at the start, I think he's interesting as a pivot off Ohtani. Soriano's been pretty damn good. I mean, he's never been really a strikeout type guy, but he's had some strikeout success in recent times, 7, 6, 7 in his last 3 starts. The Tigers have been absolutely horrible, man. They've been absolutely getting steamrolled on every radio station, every freaking Twitter or X channel you want to see. I mean, they just have been getting absolutely pummeled. Torkelson striking out at a high rate. I mean, to me, you know, I think Soriano's in a pretty good spot against the Tigers, who at the bottom of all. I mean, they're pretty much as bad as the Mets here in recent times. So Soriano, I think, is a guy that's going to be forgotten. That's got a great matchup that I think you definitely could look at. Now, deGrom, I think, is the interesting one. I think you see him against Texas. His strikeout percentage is there. Last start out, he gave up 6 earned runs. The time before that, he gave up 4. He's given up 6 homers in his last 2 starts. I mean, the guy's, you know, got a little strikeout ability in him, but I mean, he got beat up by the Angels in Houston. So it's not like he got beat up by the Dodgers and some of the better teams. I mean, he didn't get steamrolled by any kind of power lineups, that's for sure. So DeGrom for me, even though he grades out well, he's got higher projections. I just going to throw up a flag on him, a caution flag. Like I'm a little bit concerned for DeGrom against Houston, especially for some recent times that he's had. I think Elder's interesting. I mean, he's just been basically a average type pitcher, get the job done, real life pitcher, better so than a DFS type pitcher. I would probably leave him in my pool if I had a handful of guys, if I was making a bunch of teams, Nades, just because, I'm not too worried about Boston all that much. Boston's just another team that's been struggling. So I don't mind him leaving in. I just wouldn't, in a short type group of teams, I probably wouldn't have him. But Mize is the guy, though, I think is really interesting. I like righties that have some strikeout capability against this Angel lineup. So I think you can end up seeing a low type scoring game today. Mize rise up, keep up with Soriano, keep a low scoring game. And I think Mize definitely has the capability of putting up a pretty decent number against an Angel team who has a ton of Ks. I mean, Mize has been at 25% K rate, and you look over at some of these Angel lineup, Angel bats here, and we got all kinds of Ks to be had. I mean, Neto's 28%, Trout almost 30%, Soler 30%, Adele. I mean, they only got three bats that are under like 30% strikeout rate. So I think Mize is a guy that I'm really interested in. He hasn't been walking anybody, gives up more pop and a little bit more higher fly ball rate to the left side. But I think Mize is in a pretty good spot, especially for his price. I think at 8,500, he's really interesting. Conley early, I don't really have a strong feeling on him. I mean, if you really like him, you could go that route. I just don't really want to pick on Atlanta, so I can't say that I'm overly interested in early. Cole, I mean, when he came back, he didn't just seem like he had any strikeouts his last time out. Did end up going 72 pitches. I think he's still going to be on a little bit of a leash. So until I see a start or two from Cole, which we know how good he's been in the past, I think that I just can't pull the trigger on him, especially on such of a big slate that we have today. But, man, for me up top, Ohtani's easily 1. I'd say Soriano 2. I'd even have Mize ahead of DeGrom, even though most optos won't agree with me. But I like Mize a little bit more than I do DeGrom. But I just lay caution on DeGrom. I think he's going to be higher owned than what I would prefer to see him if I was, projecting what ownership is. But I just lay caution there, man. He just doesn't seem to be right the last few starts.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously DeGrom, right? He's getting older. He still seems to want to be the strikeout guy instead of kind of painting the corners and stuff like that. So with that, right, that's kind of why you're seeing the home runs. He's a fly ball guy anyways, right? So you're seeing the hard contact fly balls kind of catch up to him a little bit. The issue here is the Astros just don't have a lot of power outside of Jordan, maybe Christian Walker, Isaac Paredes a little bit, but outside of that, I mean, I do think it's a pretty clean matchup for Jacob DeGrom, but the ownership's going to be off the charts because he's $9,700. He's going to be the cash game SP1 that people are going to want to play. The chalk pairing is likely going to be DeGrom and either Ohtani or Casey Mize, at least in terms of projections, right? When I run the dry run, I'm getting 88% DeGrom, and then I'm getting 51% Ohtani, 32% Casey Mize, right? So it's going to be two of those three, definitely headlined by DeGrom. So if you can't spend the 10-7 to pair up with DeGrom for Ohtani, it's going to be Casey Mize in terms of what projections are spitting out. I have it ranked as Shohei Ohtani number 1. I have it actually the same way as you do. I have Ohtani number 1, Soriano number 2. I have Casey Mize 3, Jacob DeGrom 4. I am a little worried. Do I think there's a ceiling there for DeGrom? Absolutely. Am I worried about 6 home runs in the last 2 games? Yes. Jordan just had, 2 home runs last night? There's definitely downside here to DeGrom, and as definitely single entry stuff, I mean, this dude's going to be 60, 70% owned. Not saying he's a bad play, but there's other guys up in this tier, like a Soriano for $300 more in a much better matchup for strikeouts. I mean, this Astros team just doesn't strike out much anyways. They're basically league average against right-handed pitching over the last month. I know it's DeGrom, but he's not the same 30+% strikeout arm that we've seen when he was younger and not didn't have all the injuries, things like that. He's sitting right around 26% Ks, which is above league average, but like I said, it's not like the 30% guy that we've seen in years past. Bryce Elder's priced up too much for me. He's kind of a ceiling guy. He's a really good real-life pitcher. Boston's not been great, but that's the best hitting environment on the slate as well. So don't really want to play a ceiling price point for Bryce Elder. So I'm out on him. Cannelli early, I think, has upside for sure. I just think there's a lot of downside there as well in that hitting environment against the Braves. And at 8K, when I like guys that are cheaper overall, I think I'd rather just take a shot on some of the guys cheaper. If there was a guy up here that I think I'd add in, it's Garrett Cole, just because trusting the long term. I mean, he got some decent leash in his first start back. Now he's got the Royals, who, yeah, you're not too scared of this offense in general. It's not a very strikeout happy offense, so it's probably best to just take a wait and see approach. But if you wanted to add another guy in who has upside and definitely long-term wise, he's a big strikeout arm. $8,300 is a pretty cheap price point for a guy like Garrett Cole. He'd be kind of the other guy. So for me up top, like I said, it's Ohtani, Soriano, far and away the two favorite. For me, Casey Mize would be third. Then it'd be DeGrom, then Garrett Cole, Cannelli early is kind of how I'd rank it. I'm out on Bryce Elder. Down below 8K, I think there is some arms you can go to. Kind of Prelip stands out to me. White Sox, a much worse team against left-handed pitching than they are against right-handed pitching overall. Prelip got roughed up in his last start, but I do think this guy is still a pretty solid arm in general. 7,500. I think he's I think he's a pretty decent play at 4.5K prop, heavy juice to the over there. So I like that. I am in on Sandlin down at 4K flat. That's kind of why I'm also kind of skipping this 8K range Gyiraszin here outside of Casey Mize, is because I think there's guys down here you can play. I don't mind going to an Andrew Abbott, who I think has some upside still at 6,300 against the Mets. The Mets offense has just been absolutely atrocious. It's a good place to pitch out there in Citi Field, so I don't mind him. We know he's got the 90-plus pitch leash that he can go, so I don't mind a guy like Andrew Abbott at 6,300. Bubba Chandler is definitely going to be a quality arm long-term. He's got a lot of stuff. We saw his upside in his last start. The issue for him so far is just been his control. I know the Cubs do have a heavy implied run total there, but if he can still hone in his control and just, I mean, this dude just throws hard and has no idea where the pitch is going. If he can somehow kind of build off his last start where maybe he figured something out, I think he definitely has a ceiling at 6K flat. So for me, down below 8K, like I said, it's Prelip, Abbott, the 4K guy in Sandlin, and then Bubba Chandler are kind of the main four that I'm looking at. But none of these guys really feel super safe overall. You are going to need the salary savings, though, to get up to those Yankees bats and the Dodgers bats, which I definitely want on the offensive side. So what do you see down here below 8K?
Yeah, it does get kind of ugly, but I think there's some guys you could definitely play. I was just looking at Prelip here. I think he's a guy that I do like. I think, against a White Sox team that's been pretty good, but I think Prelip, especially with the high K prop, is a guy that I think is interesting at 7,500. Not interested in Cameron, Burrows. Now, I will say, too, for the Yankee side, that Kansas City bullpen got beat up yesterday, too. So they used quite a bit of ammunition out of that bullpen yesterday. Not interested in Burrows. Tyon, I can't do. Abbott, I think, is interesting, even though, dude, you just kind of peel back his numbers. I mean, his K percentage to righties has been absolutely shit. He's been like almost 12%, which is bad. He's not really been getting barreled up. His fly ball percentage is low. He's been getting some ground balls. Woba is not really the greatest. He's been walking a lot of righties. So if he can keep the ball over the plate, we're not too worried about this Mets lineup at all. They've just been absolutely trash. So I think Abbott's interesting just because they're playing the Mets. I mean, how can you not? Mets, Tigers, both of them are just trash. You look at Soriano and Abbott, you got two pitchers going up against the two stinking worst offenses in baseball the last few weeks, I think is definitely an interesting way to be a little bit different today. Bubba Chandler, I mean, finally, the dude, we heard about Bubba. Well, I remember when he came up, we were talking about Bubba. I mean, this guy's got a rocket arm and blah, blah, blah. Finally, the dude had his 11 Ks last time out. And surprisingly, he did against a Toronto team who normally we don't even like to chase for Ks. So, but I think I would rather play the Cubs in this one. Yeah, I mean, that's one that I think you could use them and then you could stack against them if you really wanted to. Sandlin for me, I think is definitely worth the play at 4,000. Anybody who's got a heartbeat at 4,000, I think is somebody you got to consider playing, especially when you got some bats you might want to pay up for, aka Dodgers, Yankees tonight, stuff like that. So I think he's definitely in play. I think he's the guy we should look at tonight for sure over on DK. I don't like him on FanDuel though. I'll mention that he's a little priced up a little higher. That being Sandlin over on FanDuel than he is here on DK at min price. So, yeah, I mean, anytime you got a 4K guy, you got to think about it, Nades. I mean, you always should think about it. But I think Abbott for me is my whiskey play of the day. Like he could get blown up and be so frustrating too because it's the fucking Mets. You'll just be pissed off. Like, dude, it's the Mets. Like, how the hell can they hit you? You're gonna be all pissed off. But he definitely could get the job done for sure. But yeah, Prelip, I think is interesting. You got Abbott down there, like I said, the whiskey play. But I really like Sandlin. I mean, how can you not for 4K? I think he's definitely a guy. I mean, if I'm running out like 3 or 4 teams, or I probably have Sandlin on probably good, almost all of them. I'm guessing, just because if he gets me 15 and I can make it up with some heavy bats. I mean, we saw 15 runs. We saw 30 runs yesterday out of the Yankees and Dodgers. And funny thing is, Nades, I looked at it. The 9-hitter got 6 at-bats on the Yankees. Grisham got 7. And Judge and Ohtani had 1 RBI between the two of them. And 30 runs scored. Like, it was, like, kind of funny. Like, looking at the box score, you're like, oh, what the hell? But, yeah, I was kind of excited when my man Kiki, do you love me, hit a homer last night. That was a good time. I got buzzed up all in the Discord whenever Kiki does well. But, yeah, I mean, today pitching, is kind of thin for me. Like, I think for real, I mean, I think I'd only have a handful of guys, Nades, when it all boils down to it. Ohtani, Soriano. I think I would have Mize, Prelip. Abbott is on the fence, and Sandlin. I think that's about as far as I'd go. Ohtani and Sandlin for me is like the pairing I think I'd use.
Yeah, there is some risk, right, with the pitch count on Sandlin, but I mean, the dude is $4,000 against the Twins. I get it, right? The Twins isn't a great strikeout matchup, but he's got a 3.5K prop. This guy has strikeout stuff. He's got wonky control issues, which is typically what we see, right, with these minor leaguers with strikeout ability. He's not a great prospect by any means, but again, he's $4,000 on a slate with the Yankees and Dodgers, who are in amazing matchups again and just scored 30 runs last night, right? So not to say that both of them are going to score 15 runs again or whatever it was, 14 and 17 or whatever the hell it was. I know it was a lot, right? He's $4,000, 3.5K prop. I get it. He's probably going to go 70 pitches, but at 70 pitches at 4K, when, I mean, you have expensive bats that you want to pay for. I mean, I'll take 12. I'll take 10 to 12 out of 4K. So give me 10 to 12, and that'll be enough if the bats do their thing, which have a pretty damn good chance, especially with how bad that KC bullpen is and how many arms they used last night in that game. And same thing with the Dodgers, right, against that Rockies bullpen. So, yeah, I think he's interesting. He's probably should be in that kind of mid 6K range, I would think, long term in terms of his price. So we're getting about a $2,000, $2,500 discount on that. And I'm not looking for a 4K pitcher to go out there and throw 90 pitches, right? So if he gets you 4 innings with 4 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts, and maybe 1 or 2 earned runs, that's probably enough on a slate like this if the bats really do their thing when we got expensive offenses that we do want to play, as well as 2 spend-up arms for sure in Ohtani and Soriano that I'm interested in, and obviously DeGrom as well, right? So I do think it's definitely a pretty interesting play. And, yeah, Bubba Chandler, I'm definitely going to stack against him just because if his control returns to what we've seen outside of his last start from the beginning of the year and the games before that, then the Cubs definitely have a path to being a GPP winning stack if he looks like he did last start, right? And he has his control. We know this guy has strikeout ability, and at 6K, I'll take a shot there. So for me, it's Prelip, Abbott, Chandler, and Sandlin. I probably rank the lower tier Prelip, Sandlin, Abbott, Chandler is kind of how I rank the lower tier. And then up top, like I said, it's Ohtani, Soriano, Casey Mize are kind of the three main guys I'm looking at up there. DeGrom is obviously good, but I'm probably going to take an underweight approach on Jacob DeGrom here tonight is kind of how I'm seeing the slate. Any I know you came
like when you look at the pitching, what we got today, like I think the pitching ownership pool is going to be pretty small. Like I think a lot of the ownership is going to be garnered between a handful of guys. So if you decide to play Sandlin, sure, all those guys could bust the nut, right, and fucking have great games, right? Like that's definitely a possibility. But I mean, if a couple of them don't succeed and you get 12 or 10 out of Sandlin, I mean, it just makes it even better that you went down to a 4K guy and got those bats. It's not, I guess my point is you don't have that many wide range of guys to fade. Like if a couple of them shit the bed tonight, Nades, like a DeGrom, or even if Ohtani does shit, like, dude, that 4K pitcher is now like, I mean, he's definitely way more valuable than before. So if it's more stretched out and there's like 9 or 10 guys, you know, and the ownership is going to be spread out, then I'm a little bit more concerned about playing 4K guys. But I always kind of look at like, how much am I fading here? Like how many things do I need to happen for me to be in a good position? And I just feel like there isn't that many guys that need to fail, you know, that, you know, so for me to be in a good spot with Sandlin. So I think that's why on DK, I'd play him a little bit more than probably the field will.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to play a pretty good amount of him. I mean, you look at the props, right? The dude is $4,000. You look at a guy like Steven Matz, who's $7,800, 4.5K prop, juice to the under. You look at freaking Bryce Elder, $8,700, 4.5K prop, plus 114. This dude is $4,000 cheaper than those guys, and he's got a 3.5K prop, minus 152 on the over, right? So you're saving $4,000 for equal props. I get it. The pitch count isn't there. And we probably talked way too much about a 4K pitcher, but I mean, it's a 4K pitcher with the Dodgers and the Yankees with almost a 6 implied run total each. Right. So the game theory and the roster construction wise, it makes sense, right? Props would back it up for the price point, right? When you take into account the props and the price, it's pretty damn good play in this slate when we have expensive. It'd be different as well too, Gyiraszin, if, like you said, right, ownership wasn't just so focused on DeGrom, Ohtani, Casey Mize. Outside of that, it's kind of a crapshoot in terms of what people are going to do. And if we didn't have the expensive offenses to play like the Yankees and the Dodgers in such good spots and good matchups, it's probably not a slate that you need the 4K guy, right? But on this slate, he definitely has a reasonable path to winning lineups overall, especially if he only gets you 10 to 12 DraftKings points. That's probably enough at $4,000, right? So again, we probably talked way too much about him. Let's go over and talk hitting. Gonna refresh the stone here. First game on the slate again is the early start time, right? So 6:35 Eastern, 5:35 Central. It's the Tampa Bay Rays, Baltimore Orioles up in Camden Yards. One of the bigger totals on the slate. Steven Matz, kind of a below average lefty. Orioles should get Kobe Mayo back, which does help this lineup as in general against left-handed pitching. Orioles been kind of not the best as of late. The Rays look like a pretty popular stack on the slate because of their salaries and their price points. It's going to be more of a bullpen game against the Orioles. Trey Gibson's he's probably going to throw 3 or 4 innings, and then you're probably looking at that Baltimore bullpen, which is one of the better bullpens in baseball. Rays do have a spot on the slate, though, at their salaries when, hey, if you're double spending at pitcher and playing the Yankees or the Dodgers, the Rays definitely fit the build there in terms of a value stack. They're going to be owned as such. I think they're in a solid spot. I am a little worried, though, about that Orioles bullpen, but Trey Gibson, not any good. What do you see here in terms of offense? I think a pretty solid spot on both sides to start us off here.
Yeah, I think, Tampa is in a pretty decent spot, like you mentioned. I mean, the bullpen does make it a little bit scarier. But what I really do prefer in this game are the righties for the Orioles. I think Alonso's in a good spot. Kobe Mayo, Ward, all those guys are in a good spot. Matz has got a pretty high fly ball percentage to the right side at 33%. He's been getting barreled up at almost 14%. So that's not good. His walk rate's pretty high to the right side. So I think the righties here for the Orioles definitely could get the job done. So, but yeah, I think Alonso stands out. I think he'd be a guy that if I was putting together a home run parlay, I think Alonso would be a guy that I'd probably consider throwing it in for somebody I think can get the job done. But yeah, I mean, decent game. I wouldn't say I have any of these up at like in my top stacks today, but I mean, if I'm building 20 lineups, I'd definitely probably have a piece or two of both teams.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the weather in this one, it's going to be pretty nice for hitting overall. Obviously, it's not the best ballpark for hitting, but temperatures are going to be in the upper 70s, low 80s. Wind kind of not really a big factor, so it's more of matchups. I prefer, probably looking at it, I prefer the Orioles side, just at ownership discount. And again, I don't love attacking bullpen games, especially into ownership. But again, both sides definitely in play. I prefer the Orioles side. Adley, Pete Alonso, Kobe Mayo are kind of three main guys. Jeremiah Jackson has power against lefties. Taylor Ward, Tyler O'Neill. These guys do have power against lefties. And you look at Steven Matz over the last month or so, he's not been very good. I know the Orioles haven't been very good either, but 13% K rate, guys getting hit hard. He does keep the ball on the ground to lefties mainly, but again, he's going to probably see everyone outside of Gunnar hit from the right side here. So yeah, I think the O's are a pretty decent stack overall, and I'm definitely going to have more O's interest than the Rays side here. I will say Victor Mesa, 2,300, dirt cheap for him. Think he's a solid play there. You got a cheap catcher in 2,400 there. So yeah, the Rays as a salary saver, I'd be curious. We're a little bit cautious on how I play the Rays though. If you're stacking the Yankees, probably wouldn't play the Rays, and I'd probably pivot to a team like the Texas Rangers, right, at similar price points, just because projections, the dry run spit out tons of Yankee stacks with the Rays, and two of those spend up arms in DeGrom, Ohtani, and Casey Mize. So if you're doing that, or play maybe a Soriano, right, over a DeGrom, something like that, to get a little different when you're playing the Rays. Not to say that it can't get there the same way there, but I don't love playing baseball the same way as everybody else in a game that is so volatile like it is already. Next spot, Tigers, Angels, Jose Soriano, ground baller, good arm in general. Tigers been brutal. No Tigers interest for me. Angels don't really love it against Casey Mize. Sure, you can always play a Mike Trout. He's fine, but I mean, this game seems like definitely pitching over offense for me here. Mike Trout be the best play overall from this game. Dylan Dingler, if you wanted to, McGonigal, Riley Green, a couple of those guys up at the top I think are fine, but outside of that, don't love this game for offense. What do you see here?
Yeah, I agree with you. Don't really like it for the offense. I'd rather have both pitchers. I think this one's going to be a pretty low-scoring game anyway. But, yeah, Tigers, like I said, can't hit their way out of a paper bag. Trout's been pretty good, but if that Wade Meckler's in the lineup, I think he's a pretty cheap bet to throw out in the outfield if you want to go against Mize. But, yeah, I don't really want any piece of this game. I think, like I said, I mean, I actually like the first five under – because I don't see the Tigers getting the Soriano at all.
Yeah, I like that little first five under from Gyiraszin there. Next spot on the slate, Pirates and the Cubs. We talked about the Cubs against Bubba Chandler. I think that's a clear, you can play both sides, because if Bubba Chandler has the walks and the control issues he's had, the Cubs definitely have a viable chance to winning slate here. However, I love the Pirates in this one. I love lefties against Jameson Taillon. You got a cheap catcher in Indy Rodriguez as well to add to the stack. Horwitz has been good. Brandon Lowe has been good. Reynolds, O'Neill Cruz has a ton of upside. Connor Griffin can steal. He has upside. I think the Pirates are one of my top stacks overall on the slate here, and they're going to be really low owned as well. Definitely lower owned than the Cubs side even. But I do like both sides. Definitely lean the Pirates a little bit more. On the Cubs, it's just a full stack or bust for me. Don't really love picking out individual bats or here because it's probably a strikeout or a walk. And again, if he starts walking guys, he has to come over, and that's where all the runs pile up. So Cubs for me as a full stack are kind of nothing overall. But what do you see in this one?
Yeah, I like this game a lot, actually. I think there's this could turn into a softball game really quick because you got two pitchers who are definitely vulnerable to give up runs. Tyon has not been good to lefties at all. His walk percentage is high. His ground ball percentage really low. Fly ball percentage at like 46%. Barrel percentage 16.7% to the left side. That ain't going to get the job done against the Pirates, who are the fourth highest OPS in all of baseball for the season against right-handed pitching, Nades. You wouldn't think that. You could ask anybody, give me the top 5 OPS teams, and even a fantasy nerd, and I highly doubt they would have gave you the Pirates as an answer. But Pirates definitely have been smashing righties, and Tyon has definitely been vulnerable. So it looks pretty good to me. Definitely think the Pirates are a team that I could rely on. I mean, some of them are kind of expensive, I get it, but they're still in play for me. I think the Cubs too are definitely in play. Bubba Chandler has been getting beat up by the left side as well. His walks are really an issue. 13% the left side, 18% to the right side. He's been getting barreled up by lefties at 14%. His fly ball percentages are 30% to the left side, 33% to the right side. So some of these lefties, PCA, Bush, we like some Bush. He's definitely in play. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely like the Pirates more. We did just have the Orioles, and, I think they'd be all around in the top 5. But I think I like the Pirates more, and I actually like the Orioles in the last game because, I mean, hey, like I said, top 4 in baseball and all of OPS, and you got a pitcher that has just been getting absolutely smashed from the left side, which the Pirates are definitely stronger from. So yeah, give me some Pirates. I think I'll call them my sneakier stack because I think everybody's going to go to Dodgers Yankees, but I think a full stack of Pirates could get the job done tonight.
Yeah, I like the Pirates a lot here. Cubs bullpen kind of middle of the road. They used 3 arms last night as well. So I do like the Pirates quite a bit here. And then the Cubs, you want the lefties mainly. PCA, Bush, Ian Happ, Ballesteros, that 1, 3, 5, 7. And then pick, if you're 5 stacking, pick one of those righties. Bregman's been good this year. Don't love him, but 4K, third base is a pretty tough position to fill. Especially when guys like J-Ram and Max Muncy, things like that, aren't there to play. If Max Muncy's back, obviously that is going to be who everyone goes to there. So I don't think Alex Bregman is the worst in Cub stacks in general. Next spot here, some of the best hitting environment on the slate comes from this game up in Fenway. We know this is a good place to hit in general. It's going to be upper 80s to start the game here with some wind blowing out to kind of right center field, kind of shifted mid-game more out towards like the right foul pole. Bryce Elder, again, susceptible to lefties. The Red Sox have been absolutely atrocious. You do have some cheap guys in here, though, that nobody's going to play. I know the Braves bullpen's really good as well. Elder's been a really good real-life arm, not a great DFS arm, but I think Vegas also sees this. I mean, the dude's got a 4.5K prop, heavy juice to the under at minus 146 in terms of Bryce Elder. So balls are going to be in play here. Duran, Abreu would be the top 2 bats I'd look at for the Red Sox. And then you got a Yoshida, who's dirt cheap. Mickey Gasper at 3,200 at a catcher. He's shown some power. Marcelo Mayer at second base, which is a weak position. You want the lefties, if anything, against Bryce Elder. And then the Braves, nobody's going to play the Braves here. And, yeah, you don't love the Braves as much against a left-handed pitcher, but Ronald Acuna back in this lineup at 5% ownership as a direct pivot off of guys like Aaron Judge, Kyle Tucker, Pajes, some of those expensive outfielders from the Yankees and the Dodgers. Ronald Acuna against a lefty in full 9 at-bats in Fenway with hot weather. Think that seems like a pretty good play. Matt Olson can hit lefties as well. Ozzie Albies historically is a lefty masher. Austin Riley hasn't been great this year, but again, he's going to be a pivot off of guys like Max Muncy. I think the Braves are interesting here as well. in terms of who I probably prefer, it's probably slightly the Braves, just because the Red Sox been absolutely abysmal and second lowest home runs in baseball behind the Brewers as a team. But I do like this game for offense. Best hitting environment on the slate overall.
Yeah, early two's been getting beat up a little bit. Both sides of the plate been barreling this dude up so far this year. 14 to the right side percent, and then 10% to the left side. I mean, getting Acuna back, making that lineup a little bit longer. Braves, obviously, on paper, one of the better offenses. I mean, in early is more of a fly ball type lean, 32% to both sides of the plate. So we got good hitting conditions. I just think there's some offenses that I do prefer a little bit more than both of these teams here today. I don't really want to pick on Elder with the White Sox or Red Sox. Not even really anybody that stands out to me that I'd really want to use as a one-off either. But I guess I would prefer the Braves side against early a little bit, just because of some of his fly ball struggles and then his barrel percentages. So, yeah, give me some Braves, but I got him outside my top 5.
Yeah, definitely not kind of top stacks, but I do think because all the ownership is going to the Dodgers and the Yankees and then the Rays as a value stack, I do think these teams definitely in larger field tournaments have a viable chance to be the team you need. And it's a good place to hit in general with good weather. And I mean, I think it's pretty interesting in general overall. Probably prefer the Pirates more than both of them for sure. Probably the Cubs as well. But I do think they're fairly interesting overall. Next spot on the slate, Mets and the Reds. Andrew Abbott on the mound. We said we had some interest in him as a cheaper arm with some upside. The Mets have not been great. Juan Soto is obviously really good. Lefty, doesn't matter too much. He can hit any handedness. Mark Vientos historically hits lefties really well. 3,200 is a nice price point for him. I just don't love this game or this ballpark for offense. Reds could do it. Jonah Tong has definitely shown it's obviously there's going to be an opener there, and then he's going to come in projected kind of in the long relief. And we've seen him get blown up before, but I don't know. I don't love playing this Reds offense either. I don't love this game from an offensive perspective. Can't play all the spots. This is kind of one that I'm going to be lower on overall.
Yeah, Tong, from what they're saying is he's got some control issues too. So, I mean, that game could spiral real quick out of control. I mean, I'd rather use the Reds against a righty than I would a lefty. So, I mean, I just don't know. I think it's going to be more of a bullpen type game. So for me, I mean, I just don't love it. We don't like the park over there in New York. It's just not the greatest hitting conditions. I mean, I'd have Cincinnati down a little bit further, but I wouldn't be afraid of playing like an Ellie De La Cruz, a Blade, type like mini stack, maybe throw in Eugenio or Lowe or somebody like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just, like I said, Nate, it's just not up at the top of my list.
Yeah, I think Blade would be the favorite bat from this game in general to pick off him and Soto, because again, Soto's a pivot off of a guy like Aaron Judge. Blade's a pivot off of guys like Cody Bellinger, Pajes, some of those other Dodger outfielders like I talked about. So those two guys in particular, same position, pretty similar upside overall. Blade's been really good. Juan Soto's obviously really good. So some of those guys I think make some sense, but as a stack, don't love it overall on either side of that game here. Takes us to Chicago here. Twins, kind of pre-lit. David Sandlin on the mound. We have interest in both of these starting pitchers here. You can definitely play a Miguel Vargas. Murakami and Montgomery, you can always play either way, but I don't love lefty-lefty. If you're picking one of them, Murakami definitely seems to have more power lefty-lefty, but that's a pretty expensive price point to pay. He's going to be unowned and definitely has upside, but don't love. I think Connor Prelip's a decent arm in general. Obviously got roughed up in his last start. Don't expect that to happen again here. Vargas, Randall Grichuk hits lefties really good, but he's probably only going to see 2 at-bats. Once Prelip's out of here, goes his 5 innings, 6 innings, Grichuk's going to be gone, going to get pinch hit for, so that does hurt him. Vargas is definitely my favorite bat from the White Sox. Twin side, I think, has upside against this guy because he has shown control issues in the minors, and it's not like he's a Cy Young by any means. He's kind of just an average arm at best, probably going to be in that 6 to 7K range long term. Twins have upside. I don't love it. Buxton would be my favorite guy. Cody Clemens, Brooks Lee, some of those guys, but I don't love this game from an offensive perspective on either side compared to some of the other spots on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, White Sox are one of the best hitting teams against left-handed pitching so far this year, too. They're top 5 in MLB against lefties. I mean, Murakami even hits lefties pretty good up there in that 3-0, and he's very patient. He's got like almost a 23% walk percentage. So, I mean, as we mentioned, Prelip's got some control issues, so that could be something that we watch out for. Prelip's got a mid-ground ball lean to the right side at 41%. His fly ball has been really high. Even the left side in the 30 at-bats he's seen so far this year, he's got like a 43% fly ball rate. But he's been getting barreled up by both sides, too. You mentioned Vargas. I mean, Vargas has been smashing the shit out of lefties in the last 30 days. I mean, he's got a 576 WOBA, 500 ISO. You mentioned Grichuk. You may only get 1 or 2 at-bats out of him, but he's been pretty good as well. Even Medrith off the second baseman up at the top has been decent. So I prefer the White Sox. The Twin side against Sandlin. I mean, if he's got some control issues, Buxton's been on fire. Like, he's a guy you basically got to consider on any kind of day, one-off. He's been one of the better bats so far of the year. Cody Clemens would be in play, Larnach a little bit too. But I just don't love the Twin side. I guess I'd prefer the White Sox side if I was going to use anybody. Just because, like I said, they're one of the top 4 teams in all of baseball and OPS against lefties. So Prelip isn't anybody I'm too worried about. Guy with control issues. I mean, give a couple guys on base, could be giving up some 3-run homers. We could see some crooked innings real quick.
Yeah, no, definitely. I get that. I mean, Buxton's fine, but I mean, he's obviously been good and strikes out a lot. He's at least projected for a decent chunk of ownership, and I'd rather play a guy like Juan Soto or play a guy in the next game or in 2 games that we're going to talk about in like a Yordan Alvarez, something like that at very similar price points at no ownership, and especially Yordan, right? Who DeGrom's showing home run issues. He's going to be the highest owned pitcher on the slate. So things like that is kind of what I look at if I'm looking for a spend up. I like to be spend up to be contrarian. And I do think as we head into lock, the Twins are going to pick up some steam because they're very affordable outside of Buxton. And you see a 4K starting pitcher on the other side. Not many people take a look and dig in and see this dude does have strikeout ability. So yeah, Buxton obviously a fine play, but if I was picking a side, I'm with you. I prefer the White Sox, but again, not a game that I love from an offensive perspective in general. Takes us to the next game. Yankees look like one of the top stacks on the board. Ahmed Rosario double dong last night at now he's 4K for Ahmed Rosario, which I don't know. He's probably not going to stay in the game against a righty unless the game's like 12-1 like it was last night or something. 4K seems damn expensive for him, but Yankees look on paper like one of the top offenses, if not the top offense. I do prefer the Dodgers a little bit, I think, here, but it's really hard to argue. Noah Cameron, not been the best. Yankees, been great. It's going to be hot in Kansas City as well, which does help the case for the Yankees here. There is some wind blown in, but again, I don't think that matters too much when it's almost 90 degrees in Kauffman Stadium, and that Royals bullpen got beat up last night. It's already not a good bullpen. Yankees definitely could see a position player by the end of this game again, like last night. What do you see here in this one, New York and Kansas City?
Yeah, I think Cameron could be in trouble. They might leave him out to dry, Nades. I mean, they used quite a bit of that bullpen yesterday. So they're going to need some innings out of Cameron today. That's for sure. I mean, so the Yankees for me are definitely a strong stack. Obviously, Judge, Goldschmidt, I think, is in a good spot. Like you mentioned, Rosario, definitely a pinch hit concern. But, I mean, yeah, I think the Yankees are a top stack again today. I have the Dodgers ranked higher, actually, but I'd have the Yankees coming in at number 2. And then there's quite a gap between those 2 teams. And then, the other teams that we were talking about, like the Pirates, the Orioles. I mean, these 2 teams are definitely top of the list. I mean, and yesterday they both flexed their muscles, as we said. And the 2 premier hitters didn't even get really do any damage either. But, yeah, Yankees for me stand out. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure that one out here today against Royals. But I mean, Cameron, you look at his, flight game log. I mean, his last 7 starts, he gave up 0 earned runs last start. But every start after, prior to that, it was 3 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 5 earned runs. So, I mean, he's been definitely getting beat up a little bit here. Yankees aren't a team you want to have a bad day against, because they'll make you pay for it real quick. But yeah, give me some Yankees. I mean, if you can figure out a way, that's why I think Sandlin's so kind of important today, Nate, because you can play around with it and throw in some Yankees, throw in some Dodgers, mix up your stacks a little bit. Maybe you go down to a guy like Mize in Sandlin if you wanted to do something like that to really be able to get you some bats. But, I mean, and in that case, I think you're only fading like an Ohtani, maybe DeGrom. If one of them does bad, I think you're still being a good spot if Sandlin only got you 12 points. So I think it's an interesting slate from, what we see, to where I think we got like a small pitching pool, condensed pool. And then you got 2 really good, the 2 best hitting teams, like kind of like yesterday. But then you got some of these offenses like the Pirates. We'll get to the Rangers, who I think are interesting too. The Orioles, so I think we got like 4 or 5 teams all in a bucket that could get the job done today. But these 2 definitely stand out: Yankees, Dodgers. It's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably looking at Daniel Lynch, Schreiber, Lang, Nick Mears, the back half of that KC bullpen, which is going to be available. And none of those guys are really good. Obviously, Lynch is a lefty, so if he comes in, your Rosario's obviously got a longer leash, but I'm assuming they're probably going to bring – I don't know what they actually do, though, because then if you bring in a righty, you got obviously Grisham, Bellinger, Rice, Jazz, Wells, all of those lefties there. So they're probably going to bring in a righty, which definitely probably means Ahmed Rosario gets the hook there. So there is definitely he's definitely the biggest pinch hit. Paul Goldschmidt a little bit as well, but they've been leaving him in there for the most part, and he obviously murders left-handed pitching. So at 4-3, I think it's pretty interesting on what you do between him and Ben Rice. You could definitely play the same lineup and just swap those 2 guys around and maybe move a starting pitcher around or something to get the extra salary that you need, the extra $1,500. But that is definitely a decision-making that is a little tricky there with those 2. And like I said, Ahmed Rosario with the pinch hit, a little scared there. But on paper, yeah, Yankees check-in number 2 for me in general, behind the Dodgers overall on this slate. 2 games left to talk about: Astros, Rangers. Jacob deGrom, Highstone pitcher on the slate. He doesn't rank that great in our pitcher rankings, 14th, which is kind of eye-opening a little bit. Talked about it. Yordan Alvarez, 6K. I mean, this dude's going to be 3% owned. DeGrom's given up 6 home runs in the last 2 days. Yordan hit 2 home runs last night. You want to get different? Play Yordan instead of Judge. Play Yordan instead of either of those spend up. Kyle Tucker, Andy Pajes, Freddie Freeman, something like that, right? Buxton, play Yordan over those guys, and you're just instantly different. And he has just as much upside, if not more. And you leverage the highest on pitcher on the slate. As a stack, I don't love stacking the Astros here. Probably more just picking off home runs. Yordan would be far and away my favorite bat here. Christian Walker, I think, is interesting. Paredes, just because third base is a weak position, and he's $3,200 with some power. So I don't mind that. You got a cheap second baseman that hits from the left side there that has shown some power in Shoemake. So I think the Astros have a spot here for kind of a leverage. And in that type of build, right, maybe you go the $300 and play Jose Soriano instead of playing DeGrom, and you take an Astro or 2 against him in terms of the roster construction. On the other side, Mike Burrows, nothing special by any means. Rangers, not a great offense, but they got hitting last night. I think they fit the build here. I prefer them much more, I think, overall than the Rays at very similar price points. The ownership's not going to be there. We know how bad that Astros bullpen is. Burrows is nothing special by any means. I think that I think Texas is really not interesting here tonight, and nobody's playing them. I know it's not the best place to hit in terms of ballpark, but I like the matchup, and I don't like the bullpen behind Burrows either. So I think the Rangers are pretty interesting overall on this slate.
Yeah, definitely like the Rangers. Burrow has not been good. Low K rate, 15.8% to the left side. His WOBA's 429 to left side. Been getting hard hit at almost 12%. I mean, Jock Peterson sitting up at top of that lineup, Hams man there, Mr. Jock, I think's in a really good spot. Nemo's in a pretty good spot that I think you could get the job done. So I do like the lefties. I say I don't like them as much as I do the Pirates. I'd probably put them in a similar spot like the Orioles today. So, I mean, yesterday I got all excited. I did have a Ranger stack with some Dodgers, and I had Chase Burns on FanDuel. They come out and score 8 runs, and I was like, "Ooh, man, we're gonna get in that bullpen. This could be funny. Like we could have a freaking field player pitching here soon." I was thinking they end up staying in the game, end up being a softball game. But yeah, for me, I think the Rangers are in a really good spot. Like you said, that bullpen just sucks. I love picking on that Astros bullpen. And when I can pick on like the worst bullpen in baseball, Nades, with a guy that I don't think's very good starting out the game, like, and nobody's playing him, like I really think you should always consider that. I mean, it's kind of like the reverse of playing the Dodgers and Yankees every day. Like we all know they're the best hitting teams, but like if we want to go against the worst pitching teams, the Astro overall is this been bad. So I mean, anytime to me that I can get a team against the worst pitching staff in baseball, I think I'm in.
Yeah, and the nice thing, too, about the Rangers, you look at the last month against right-handed pitching, 19% K rate, so the balls are going to be in play. Team ISO sitting around 150, which is nothing crazy, but Duran's been good, Berger's been good, and the Burrows against lefties has just been absolutely horrible. I mean, 13% barrel rate. Nimmo, Evan Carter, who hit a bomb last night, Jock Peterson, who's been really good. Yeah, I like the Rangers a ton, probably a lot more than I should, because they're probably going to score 2 runs like they do most games. But on a slate where nobody's playing them and they're similar prices to the Tampa Bay Rays against one of the best bullpens in baseball, I'll take my shots here overall with the Rangers. I like them a ton. And like I said, on the Astros side, Jordan, Shoemake, Walker are kind of the 3 main guys I'd look at there in non-DeGrom lineups. Last game on the slate, my top overall offense here. Obviously, you don't get to play Shohei Ohtani as a hitter, but makes the stack more affordable. This game is not on FanDuel. It is on DraftKings. Rockies are easy cross-off for me, but Dodgers, I mean, Sagano is the worst starting pitcher on the slate by far. This dude is just absolutely atrocious. Might be the worst starting pitcher in the major leagues. Dodgers broke off for a crooked number last night. Probably expect more of the same here. Muncy, I mean, just it's 1 through 8 or 2 through 8 or 2 through 9, excuse me. Load them up any which way. Don't really matter. I mean, Rockies bullpen has been better than they were last year, but nothing crazy by any means. And I mean, you could definitely see a position player pitching here again. Dodgers massive implied run total on this slate. What do you see to round this out?
Yeah, I mean, you do lose Ohtani. They're still the top stack, even without Ohtani. I mean, Mookie finally did something yesterday. Maybe he'll get back on. Page's just been so good, especially driving runs in. But the lefties stand out. They should be getting Muncy back. So Tucker, Muncy, free money Freddie is also in play. Dalton Rushing, I think you could play in that A spot, flipping around that lineup. So I think they're definitely play. Sagano has just been fucking horrible. Dude's got like a 19% barrel rate, the lefties. Like that's like softball pitcher numbers. And then 14% to the right side. I mean, just not very good. So, I mean, Sagano's just in trouble, as you mentioned. One of the worst pitchers in all of baseball. Low K rate. Has been walking lefties to the left side. Woba is pretty high to the left side. I mean, everything just points here. Pure trouble for Sagano in these Rockies here tonight. Dodgers, for me, stand out. I mean, once the Dodgers get steamrolling, man, they are like both the Yankees. They get going, man. They'll just score runs in a hurry. So, yeah, Dodgers for me stand out. And then, like I said, I got some Yankees. And then I'd probably go Pirates right after that. And then between the Orioles and Rangers, I think would be right behind that.
Yeah, we definitely see it pretty close. So that takes us to the end of the show here. Your favorite pitching combination, your top 3 stacks, and then a home run call to round us out. I forgot who yours was. I know mine was Jake Bowers. He hit one. I don't know who yours was, but
I had Nimmo.
Nimmo, yeah. You still went Evan Carter. Evan Carter got it done. Nimmo did not, but you were on the right team, wrong guy. Let's see if we can't double up here tonight. Go ahead and give your summary.
All right, we will go. My favorite pitching combination. I mean, if we want to leave Ohtani out, I'll go with the DK Ohtani, and then Sandlin would probably be. But actually, Mize and Sandlin I think is interesting, so we could get some bats. As far as favorite stacks, like I said, Dodgers, Yankees, Pirates. And then I'd probably go Orioles, and then Rangers. I think is pretty much where I'd go. And my home run call, I am going to say. Brandon Lau on the Pirates, I think, is going to go deep.
I like that one. For me, my favorite pitching combination is going to be, I'll go Jose Soriano up at the top, and then I will go I'll go Sandlin as well. Casey Mize would kind of be the other guy. Obviously, Ohtani's the best play as well, but for anyone who playing over there on FanDuel and that, I think Soriano is a really good tournament play on this slate, sandwiched between DeGrom and Ohtani up the top. Top overall stack for me is going to be the Dodgers. Yankees number 2. I'll put Texas 3, Pirates 4, and then the Orioles is kind of that 5th team there. My home run call, I'm going to the White Sox. I'm going to Miguel Vargas, hitting third base, 4,900. Got to pay up for him. Third base is not a great position. Obviously, we're likely to get Max Muncy back here tonight, which is a really good play on the slate. But I think Miguel Vargas, who has been smashing lefties, is a pretty good play on the slate at no ownership. That's going to do it. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. Slate starts in about an hour and a half. Make sure you do get your lineups in and adjusted. Don't wait around until 6:10 Central Time, 7:10 Eastern, like typical slate does lock. You are going to miss those 4 early games, and there's some good offense in those games for sure, and some good starting pitching as well. So definitely need to pay attention. Get your lineups in. We got all the content up over at Shipping Nation. If you're not a member, shippingnation.com. Click Join the Nation. $49 a month for baseball-only content with an optimizer, the ability to build up to 150 teams. No better rate in the industry. You can't even get SaberSim alone for cheaper than that. Gyiraszin, appreciate you jumping on here. We will be back, Gyiraszin and I, on Tuesday. But the team, Gyiraszin and I think Bellman or one of them will have you covered if there's a show tomorrow. Otherwise, Friday will be the next show on this channel. Good luck tonight. Like I said, for Gyiraszin, I'm Nades. We'll catch you guys next time. We're out of here. Peace.